PlayStation is no stranger to video game remakes, choosing to launch the PlayStation 5 next-generation console with a Demon's Souls remake as one of its primary games. Now it seems that there may be yet another PlayStation remake in development, as Irish singer-songwriter AVA has confirmed that she has written a song for a big PlayStation remake that will supposedly be announced in December. Speaking on Irish radio show The Lunchbox, AVA said that she is working on a remake of a PlayStation game, and that it is going to be a big game. AVA further revealed that the PlayStation remake game will be announced at Christmas, which could mean a couple of different things. For one, AVA could mean that the game is literally going to be announced on Christmas Day, though that seems unlikely. The second and more likely scenario is that the game will be announced during the holiday season, and there's one big gaming event coming in December where an announcement would fit perfectly. The Game Awards 2021 is scheduled to take place on Thursday, December 9th, and it stands to reason that if a big PlayStation remake announcement is on the horizon, it will take place then. Alternatively, it's possible that Sony could host another of its PSX event in December. Now the question is, what game is AVA referring to specifically, as there are a lot of options. It was just recently teased by reputable leakers that Demon's Souls remake developer Bluepoint Games is making a Bloodborne remake, so that seems like one possibility for a Game Awards announcement. Or maybe AVA worked on the rumored Metal Gear Solid or Silent Hill remakes, which Konami has reportedly been cooking up, and, depending on the particular rumor, Sony may be funding the projects. Maybe AVA has written a song for The Last of Us 1 remake. While The Last of Us remake has not been formally announced, reputable sources have claimed that Naughty Dog is moving forward with a remake of the first Last of Us game for the PlayStation 5. This may seem a little odd on paper, but when one considers that it's been nearly 10 years since the first Last of Us game released, it does make a little bit more sense. Fans have wanted to see Bloodborne return in some capacity since it originally launched in 2015. Rumor has it that fans may be able to hunt once again, as Bluepoint Games is supposedly working on a Bloodborne remake. Bloodborne is a landmark title that came pretty early into the PS4's lifespan. Developed by From Software, the creator of Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, Bloodborne evolved the gameplay found in those games, emphasizing player movement and mobility and encouraging players to fight aggressively rather than defensively. Before Bluepoint Games was acquired by PlayStation, it was already in great standing with Sony, giving new life to many classic games with remakes of Shadow of the Colossus and last year's Demon's Souls. Blastmaster on the PS3 was the studio's last original project, having focused on remasters and remakes ever since. Colin Moriarty dropped a cryptic tease that Bluepoint Games may be working on a Bloodborne remake. He writes simply on Twitter, "I'm hearing through the grapevine Bluepoint Games may be on a journey to Yharnam." For those who might not have played the game, Yharnam is Bloodborne's setting, a gothic, decrepit metropolis, once swarming with people, now festering with beasts and the sick. After PlayStation's acquisition of Bluepoint, it confirmed its next title is a totally original one, but the latest rumors state that it is working on both a new title as well as another remake. Based on how Bluepoint Games handled the Demon's Souls remake, it is clear the studio knows how to develop a Souls-like game. The Demon's Souls remake managed to simultaneously improve the game mechanically, while also retaining the game's original vision and atmosphere. Every couple of months, rumors for Bloodborne sequels and remakes appear, but with From Software still being hard at work with Elden Ring, and multiple people claiming a remake is in development at Bluepoint Games, this is the best chance at seeing this beloved world again. Recently, Bloodborne producer joined Team Ninja, and Shuhei Yoshida also posted a picture with them. So, there could be acquisition talks, and also doing a sequel for Bloodborne. Whether Bluepoint or Team Ninja is working on Bloodborne is yet to be seen. If this rumor does come to fruition, Bloodborne will become the most recently released game to receive the remake treatment. The previous game is also a PlayStation title, it being the remake of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, which was confirmed to be in development earlier this year. Perhaps time is moving too quickly, but some feel neither The Last of Us nor Bloodborne really need to be remade. The Last of Us is a bit more understandable, it being a PS3 game, but either way, Bluepoint will likely knock it out of the park, whatever its next project is. In February, Jade Raymond departed Google, leaving behind the company and its studio she helped found. Google was shutting down Stadia's in-house game development efforts, but Raymond's plans for game development didn't end there. A month later, Raymond announced a new studio, Haven Entertainment Studios, funded by Sony to make an original IP. Details about Haven's PlayStation exclusive project continue to be drip-fed each month, including details about its recruitment of Assassin's Creed veterans and certain new gameplay elements. Speaking with GamesIndustry.biz, Raymond broke down some of the employees already hired to bring Haven's first game to life. Namely, she mentions key veterans from the Assassin's Creed franchise. This includes Raphael Lacoste, the franchise's art director through July 2021, as Haven's artistic director, writer Corey May as Haven's world director, AI programmer and gameplay lead Pierre-François Sapinski as Haven's head of production, and others further down the hierarchy. Then there's Raymond herself, who was a producer for the original Assassin's Creed and stayed with the franchise through 2014. All in all, Haven has grown to over 50 developers since its founding in March. Its team is made up not just of Assassin's Creed veterans, but also teammates from other Ubisoft properties like Rainbow Six Siege and Watch Dogs. Raymond's also previously discussed bringing over talent from Google following the closure of the Stadia team, which is part of why the studio is named Haven. In talking about Haven, Raymond also revealed some details about the studio's goals looking toward its first project. Raymond notes that she sees three things that are really exciting that also make up pillars for Haven's approach to game development. Those pillars are games as a social platform, remix generation, which implies how young people are more creatively involved and connected than ever before, and self-expression in a way that goes beyond user-generated content. Characterizing these thoughts, Raymond describes a game concept that not only has depth, but is also designed to be owned by the fans from the start. She notes how Assassin's Creed was designed to be owned by future creative teams. Jade Raymond also touched upon the quality and creative freedom on PlayStation, that she chose to work with some of PlayStation first-party studios, which indicates that resources will be shared and also ideas. Haven's IP will be designed to be owned not just by its developers, but also by fans. That's what Haven ultimately is, going by their quotes. It's a group of friends who have worked together for years putting together a genuinely creative project. That seems like a rather special arrangement. We will just have to be patient to see what Haven puts together. 2021 is the 10-year anniversary for Ryuji Gattaca Studio, and the developer behind the Yakuza series has just confirmed that it will be transitioning to a new structure. This announcement comes just 2 weeks after the release of Lost Judgment, which continues the story of Takayuki Yagami and his partner Masaharu Kaito. Earlier today, it was confirmed that a sequel to Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is currently in development at Ryuji Gattaca Studio. It will continue the story of Ichiban Kasuga, who took over from Kazuma Kiryu as the protagonist of the Yakuza series. This sequel will likely build upon the new battle system introduced in Like a Dragon, as the series completes its transition from a brawler to a turn-based RPG. The same post that revealed this information also mentions that two key members will be leaving SEGA and RGG Studio. It is confirmed Toshihiro Nagoshi and Daisuke Sato will be leaving SEGA, and both had some words to share with the audience. Nagoshi thanks the fans for supporting the Yakuza series throughout the years, as well as his colleagues for their work on the franchise. He mentions that a new Ryuji Gattaca studio is born, and it will continue to build upon the foundation of this series. He asks the current members of RGG Studio to keep challenging themselves, and requests fans to continue to support them. The next message is from Daisuke Sato, who mentions that series producer Yokoyama will now take over the position of studio lead. Sato had been involved with the Yakuza franchise since the beginning, and served as head of RGG Studio for 9 years. Sato believes that the studio can carry this momentum to reach greater heights. He goes on to thank the audience as well as everyone who has worked on the Yakuza series, and will now look forward to new titles made by Ryuji Gattaca Studio as a fan. Earlier in August, it was reported that the creator of the Yakuza series will be leaving SEGA after 32 years. Back then, Nagoshi had apparently entered final negotiations with Chinese tech company NetEase, and it looks like all of those reports will turn out to be true. However, it is a surprise that Daisuke Sato is also leaving SEGA with him. Regardless, the Yakuza series is at the height of its popularity, and Ryuji Gattaca Studio has been releasing great games at an impressive pace. It seems that PlayStation will soon be introducing a new feature that will let PlayStation 5 gamers try free trials of games before they buy them. Right now this feature is only available in the UK, and has not had any kind of formal announcement by Sony. But one has to imagine that it rolling out to PS5 users in other regions is just a matter of time. This new feature was that both Death Stranding Director's Cut and Sackboy: A Big Adventure are now offering limited-time free trials through the PlayStation Store on PS5. Death Stranding Director's Cut is the PS5 exclusive version of Death Stranding that features new content not found in the original release, whereas Sackboy: A Big Adventure is a co-op platformer set in the Little Big Planet universe. UK gamers who take advantage of these free trials are given 6 hours to try Death Stranding Director's Cut and 5 hours to try Sackboy. The free trial timer starts counting down when players start the download, as opposed to when they actually start playing the game. This gives players even less time to try the games, especially if they have a slow internet connection and can't download large game files fast. Another restriction is that the trials are only available until October 28, at which point they will be removed. Perhaps Sony is testing the PS5 free game trials as a feature it wants to introduce on a larger scale, but is experimenting with how exactly it wants to implement it. It's also possible that Sony will never roll out this feature on a larger scale, so we will just have to wait and see. And also recently Biomutant have joined this lineup. So stay tuned for more updates. Earlier this year, Sony nearly shut down the digital stores on the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita. Due to the overwhelming amount of demand by the gaming community for the digital platforms, Sony rescinded the decision and chose to only shut down the PSP store instead. While the stores on the PS Vita and PS3 are still operational, Sony is about to make the process of purchasing games on either platform rather difficult. Back in April, Sony announced that the PS3 and PS Vita stores would remain online for the foreseeable future, which came as a relief to many in the gaming community. There are a number of titles featured in those particular game libraries that can't be purchased on either PS4 or PS5. However, now it seems users on PS3 and PS Vita won't be able to purchase games via credit or debit cards anymore. Sony announced that as of October 27, users will no longer be able to purchase games or any sort of in-game content using a PayPal account or credit and debit cards. This isn't to say that users can no longer purchase games on those platforms, but they will instead have to redeem PlayStation Store gift cards in order to purchase content on the PS3 and PS Vita's digital storefronts. In addition to PS Store gift cards, users can also add funds to their digital wallet online or on PS4 or PS5 using their credit card, debit card, or PayPal account. Sony has yet to extrapolate on why these changes are being made, but what can be said for certain right now is that following October 27, purchasing content via the in-game PS3 and PS Vita stores will be significantly less efficient. It's natural for gaming hardware and software to gradually fade out of mainstream accessibility after a while. Take for example the discontinuation of the Nintendo 3DS that occurred late last year. Not to mention the attempt to shut down the PS stores on the PS3 and PS Vita. None of this is meant to be malicious on the publisher's part, it just simply boils down to user inactivity on certain gaming platforms. Whatever the reason, PS3 and PS Vita users will have to utilize the time they left have to purchase games the way they want to. Jim Ryan, the president and CEO Sony Interactive Entertainment, recently made an interview where several questions are asked before him like he was with PlayStation since 1994 and other historical events. But we are gonna discuss some key points he said in the interview. In a keynote fireside chat during GI Live London, the PlayStation boss says that a hit game on PS4 or PS5 is around 10 to 20 million sales, but he hopes that will change as gaming becomes as ubiquitous as movies and music, which is a double-edged sword. He said, PlayStation games should have to reach a bigger audience. I don't know if that means putting more games on PC, or even going day and date. Putting games day and date on PC could devalue the PlayStation brand, and more importantly the developed games could be less ambitious because of the need to develop the game by the lowest common denominator. He also stated that PS5 will be the most successful console of all time. So, in order for games that sells 20 million to sell double that number, they can be using similar practices like The Last of Us HBO show and movies to attract audience outside from the gaming space and console space. This seems like an organic practice, and games that take full advantage of the PlayStation 5 will be exclusive. But if they go day and date with selected games, then let's hope that the quality of the games don't deteriorate. PlayStation's Play at Home initiative was undoubtedly a bright spot for many gamers during the COVID-19 pandemic. It let fans download free PlayStation games and helped small developers continue to make great games despite the economic hardship created by the pandemic. Jim Ryan said that Play at Home's free games could return in the future, in terms of the longevity of the pandemic. Ryan explained that Sony Interactive Entertainment began the initiative to keep people entertained during the first wave of lockdowns in 2020. The company then brought it back during COVID's resurgence last winter. When asked about the future of Play at Home, Ryan said PlayStation would keep bringing it back as long as it seemed necessary. That means the free games will most likely only return if COVID goes through another resurgence. According to Ryan, players redeemed 60 million games during the initiative. The available titles included a variety of PS4 and PSVR titles, including Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, Ratchet & Clank, Subnautica, and Horizon Zero Dawn, Complete Edition. Play at Home also offered free in-game items and currency, and an extended trial for the Funimation streaming service. The interview also discussed other ways Sony has reacted to the ongoing pandemic. Ryan touched on the difficulties of rolling out a console amidst pandemic-related hardware shortages. There was also a discussion about the challenges of promoting games without hands-on demos or public events. Ryan himself noted that he'd had to adapt to an unusual schedule due to living in London and having virtual meetings with people in Japan and the United States. He also noted that launching the PlayStation 5 from his dining room was a strange experience he'd rather not repeat. However, Ryan says he's satisfied with how the company handled the difficulties of the last 2 years. The PlayStation executive notes the company managed to move 10 million PS5 consoles in an impressively short time. He also mentioned the dual success of Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2 and other games like Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Moving forward, Sony confirms the 7 new games coming to its PlayStation Now subscription service in October, including titles perfect for Halloween. When it comes to PlayStation's subscription services, it seemed that PlayStation Plus gets the most attention. However, with many fans expressing disappointment with the free PS Plus games for October 2021, maybe more will give PlayStation Now a look. Sony has revealed the 7 new games coming to PlayStation Now in October, including multiple titles that are perfect for the spooky Halloween season. The headlining new game for PlayStation Now in October is The Last of Us 2, which will be available on the service from Tuesday, October 5th, until it's removed on January 3, 2022. The Last of Us 2 has won more awards than any other game in history. In any case, its addition to PlayStation Now means anyone on the fence about it can experience the game without having to pay anything beyond their PlayStation Now subscription. Besides The Last of Us 2, a few other new PlayStation Now games seem like they'd be worth checking out for anyone needing something to play for Halloween. This includes action RPG Victor Vran Overkill Edition, and yet another Zombie Defense HD, though the most notable is easily Amnesia Collection. Amnesia Collection is a collection of some of the scariest video games ever made, giving players the chance to check out the groundbreaking horror game Amnesia, The Dark Descent, its unnerving Justine expansion, and its sequel, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs. Few games have the capacity to scare players like the Amnesia games do, making them the perfect games to play on PlayStation Now this Halloween. The other new games coming to PlayStation Now in October 2021 include Desperados 3, Fallout 76, and Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Desperados 3 is a critically acclaimed strategy game, whereas Final Fantasy VIII Remastered is just the latest game in Square Enix's celebrated franchise to make the leap to PlayStation Now. More Final Fantasy games are coming to PlayStation now in the near future, with FF9 debuting in November, FF10 Part 1 and 2 HD coming in December, and finally Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age joining the PlayStation Now lineup in January. PlayStation Now doesn't get the same recognition as PS Plus or Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass, but it still offers a pretty insane value and practically pays for itself. And that's all for the video, guys. Like and share the video for a greater audience. Comment your thoughts on the topics, and donations are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then from SMPV, it's goodbye.